The improved brawling and predator mechanics, along with team-up takedowns, keep combat fresh. Side quests featuring classic villains like Two-Face and Penguin offer plenty of variety, making for an epic conclusion to the Arkham series. Despite some flaws, Arkham Knight is an outstanding game that stands out in both size and gameplay depth.
Mark this. He's not just any monkey. He's a monkey of merit.
Black Myth Wukong is an action RPG that dives deep into Chinese mythology, letting you play as the Monkey King with crazy, shape-shifting abilities and powerful magic. The combat is intense and feels really satisfying, especially when you master the dodges and counters. I was really impressed by how smooth the animations are, making every move feel impactful. Visually, the game looks stunning with its detailed environments and fluid animations, which make every fight feel epic. But some of the enemy encounters can feel a bit repetitive after a while. Still, the storytelling and unique setting keep you hooked. If you love challenging action RPGs, this one is definitely worth checking out. Black Ops 6 is a first-person shooter that delivers the intense action and fast-paced gunfights the series is famous for. The campaign is packed with explosive moments, and the multiplayer has plenty of customization options that keep things interesting. I really enjoyed the smooth controls and the exciting combat, but the story in the campaign didn't feel very fresh, and some of the missions were a bit too predictable. The multiplayer is fun, but it doesn't add much that we haven't seen before. Still, if you're a fan of Call of Duty, you'll find a lot to like here. It's just one of those games that's perfect for playing with friends. Celeste is a challenging but rewarding platformer where you play as Madeline, a girl who climbs a mountain, and this game is known for its tough difficulty, but it's also super fair, and the controls feel really tight and responsive, so you always feel like it's your fault when you mess up. Which, believe me, you will a lot, and the levels are designed with tons of hidden secrets and shortcuts that make you want to replay them over and over again to find everything. Plus, the story in Celeste is surprisingly deep and emotional, dealing with things like anxiety and self-doubt in a way that feels really genuine and relatable. And the music is absolutely amazing. It's like this beautiful mix of piano and electronic stuff that perfectly fits the mood of the game, but I gotta say some of those later levels are brutally hard, like seriously controller throwing frustrating. And while the story is great, it's told through these optional cutscenes that you can easily miss if you're not looking for them. So overall, Celeste is an awesome game with tight controls, a beautiful art style, and an amazing soundtrack that's definitely worth checking out even if you're not usually into hard platformers. Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, is a real treat for fans of the original game because it takes everything that was awesome about it and turns it up to 11. Like, the animation is even more incredible with that classic cartoon style, and the music is just as catchy and fun to listen to. Plus, it adds a bunch of new levels and bosses that are some of the most creative and challenging ones yet. So get ready for some serious controller throwing moments. But the best part is, you get to play as Miss Chalice, this brand new character with her own cool moves and abilities that make the game feel fresh and exciting, like a double jump and a dash move that lets you avoid attacks. But be warned, some of these bosses are seriously tough and might make you want to pull your hair out, but if you love the original Cuphead, you absolutely have to check out The Delicious Last Course. When Cyberpunk launched in December 2020, it was a technical disaster, plagued by bugs, crashes, and glitches, leading to Sony removing it from the PlayStation Store. By 2022, the game was patched, but its design and gameplay issues still lingered, leaving me skeptical about its potential. Although the 2.0 update has turned it into a much improved game, Night City is now bursting with life, thanks to denser crowds, enhanced NPC AI, and a more interactive environment that makes it feel like a true futuristic megacity. The revamped police system adds excitement with dynamic chases and a real sense of threat. RPG mechanics have been completely overhauled, offering a more rewarding progression system that allows for diverse character builds. Combat and stealth are now a lot more fun, with smoother, more engaging gameplay. Overall, the game now delivers a far more polished and enjoyable experience.
Goddamn terrorist!
Days Gone is a unique and thrilling zombie survival game that you should definitely check out. Its standout feature? The Freaker Hordes, or zombies, as most of us call them. Unlike typical games, these hordes don't just mindlessly charge at you, they surround and overwhelm you like a living, breathing wave of terror. If you've ever dreamed of facing zombies like in World War Z, this game delivers big time. Fighting them is intense, strategic, and terrifying, especially when you're low on stamina or far from your bike. Beyond the hordes, Days Gone nails the survival element. You're constantly scavenging for supplies, managing your bike's fuel, and staying alert to ambushes and wild animals. The world feels alive and deadly. While the story isn't the strongest aspect, the gameplay more than makes up for it. Plus, the Freaker's biology is uniquely fascinating, rivaling even The Last of Us in creativity. With weapons customization, bike upgrades, and post-story challenge modes, there's plenty to keep you hooked. If you love a gritty, survival-focused zombie game with depth and intensity, Days Gone is absolutely worth your time. Dead Island 2 is a hilarious, gore-filled sequel that doesn't take itself seriously, and that's part of its charm. Set in a stunningly detailed and absurd version of LA, the game boasts ridiculously good graphics that make its blood-soaked melee combat and apocalyptic setting pop. You'll hack, slash, and drop-kick your way through zombie hordes as one of 6 playable characters. The story feels like a cheesy B-movie with sarcastic writing, colorful characters, and over-the-top quests, like slaying zombies for a clout-chasing influencer or fighting bee-infested undead. While combat starts strong with modded melee weapons and superhuman abilities, its repetitive nature and lackluster guns fall short. Multiplayer adds much-needed fun, though technical bugs and an unpolished feel detract from the experience. Dead Island 2 may not reinvent the zombie genre, but its humor, irreverent tone, gorgeous visuals, and co-op chaos make it worth a bloody good time. Death Stranding is a really unique game, and I gotta say it was quite the experience. Some people might call it a walking simulator, and yeah, you do spend a lot of time trekking across this crazy landscape, but it's not just about that. You're like this delivery guy in a post-apocalyptic world where everything is super weird and you have to connect these isolated cities. It's kind of slow-paced, but it's also really beautiful and atmospheric with some crazy creatures and this really cool story about connections and stuff. The gameplay can be a bit repetitive, I guess, like you're always balancing your cargo and trying not to fall over, which can get a little old. But honestly, I kind of found it relaxing in a weird way, and the story kept me hooked. Plus, the online thing, where you can see other players' structures and stuff, is really cool. It's definitely not going to be for everyone, but if you're looking for something different and you don't mind a bit of a slower pace, Death Stranding might surprise you. Disco Elysium: The Final Cut is a one-of-a-kind detective RPG where you play as a cop with amnesia trying to solve a murder in a really weird and interesting city. And the cool thing is, you get to create your own type of detective with different skills and personality, so you can be a super smart detective or a total goofball. What really makes this game special is the amazing writing. It's super funny and makes you think about all sorts of things, and the world is full of interesting characters and hidden secrets that you'll want to uncover. Plus, the voice acting in the Final Cut version really brings the characters to life. Now, just a heads up, there's a lot of reading in this game, and it can be a bit slow at times. So if you're not into that kind of thing, it might not be for you, but if you're looking for a truly unique and unforgettable RPG experience, Disco Elysium The Final Cut is definitely worth checking out. Dishonored 2 is a stealth action game where you get to play as either Emily or Corvo, who have really cool supernatural powers that let you sneak around and take down your enemies in tons of different ways, like you can teleport around the map, possess people, or even summon swarms of rats to do your dirty work. And the levels are these awesome, intricate environments that give you a lot of freedom to explore and experiment with your powers. The story is full of twists and turns, and the world is super immersive with a unique art style that makes it feel like a painting come to life. Plus, you can choose to play the game like a ghost, leaving no trace, or go in guns blazing and cause total chaos, which adds a lot of replay value because you can try different approaches each time. Now, the AI can be a bit wonky at times, and sometimes it feels like you get spotted when you shouldn't, and the story, while interesting, isn't quite as gripping as the first game. But overall, Dishonored 2 is a fantastic stealth action game with awesome powers, a cool world, and plenty of choices that make it a blast to play. Divinity Original Sin is a really fun game where you create your own characters and go on an epic adventure with turn-based combat that makes every fight feel like a puzzle you need to solve, and the freedom to explore the world and make your own choices with a story that keeps you hooked with interesting characters and unexpected twists. The game can be quite challenging, though, and sometimes you might get stuck or frustrated because it throws a lot of information at you at once, and it can be a bit overwhelming, but if you're patient and like to experiment, you'll find a lot to love in this game. With its beautiful world and engaging story, Divinity Original Sin is a must-play for fans of role-playing games. And if you're looking for a deep and rewarding experience that you can really sink your teeth into, then this is the game for you. I played Dragon Age The Veilguard recently, and it's an incredible RPG where you dive into a huge world full of magic, deep lore, and complex characters. The story is so well written that it kept me wanting to explore every corner and talk to every character. I really enjoyed the strategic combat, where you can mix spells and attacks to create powerful combos. The graphics look beautiful, and the voice acting is top-notch, bringing the characters to life. The only downside is that the pacing can feel slow at times, and some side quests are a bit repetitive. Still, it's an unforgettable journey that's definitely worth your time. It's just one of those games that stays with you long after you stop playing.
Watch out! On it!
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is an action-packed fighting game that lets you relive all the epic battles from the Dragon Ball universe. And what I really like is how true it stays to the anime with all the flashy moves, destructible environments, and insane power-ups that make every fight feel just as intense as in the show. But even though the combat is fun and fast-paced, sometimes the controls feel a bit clunky, especially when you're trying to pull off complex combos. And while the character roster is massive, it feels like some characters don't have enough unique moves to stand out. But overall, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're definitely going to enjoy this game. Dragon's Dogma 2 is an amazing action RPG that throws you into a huge open world filled with mythical creatures and dangerous quests where you can climb on monsters and really feel the impact of your attacks. You can create your own character and recruit companions called pawns to help you in battle, which adds a really cool layer of strategy to the gameplay. The combat is fast-paced and exciting with tons of different skills and abilities to learn and master. Plus, the world is just stunning with beautiful environments and a day-night cycle that makes it feel truly alive. While some of the quests can be a bit repetitive and the story can be a little confusing at times, Dragon's Dogma 2 is still an incredible adventure that any fan of action RPGs should definitely check out. Dying Light 2: Stay Human is a thrilling zombie action game with an expansive open world and smooth, top-tier parkour movement. The game lets you leap between rooftops, scale skyscrapers, and use a grappling hook with ease, creating an exhilarating experience. The story features a cast of memorable characters including Rosario Dawson's Lawan and the charming Frank and Hakan, each bringing dramatic moments to the game. Combat is exciting, with options to creatively take down enemies using dropkicks, explosive gas tanks, and Molotov cocktails. The co-op mode allows up to 4 players to explore the city together, enhancing the fun with shared progress and XP. With its dynamic world and action-packed gameplay, Dying Light 2 delivers an unforgettable post-apocalyptic adventure. Elden Ring is a massive, challenging open-world RPG that combines difficulty with an expansive world that encourages exploration. Players take on the role of a Tarnished, journeying through a land filled with conflict, mysterious characters, and tough boss battles. The game offers deep customization, allowing players to build their character with a variety of classes and abilities. Combat is deliberate with new features like a jump button and guard counterattacks. The open world, accessible through a mount called Torrent, offers tons of secrets to discover. Although it can be difficult and at times frustrating, the game rewards curiosity and offers freedom to explore at your own pace. The visuals are stunning, though some minor performance issues exist, especially on PC. Overall, Elden Ring feels like a game-changing evolution in the RPG genre, offering something for both newcomers and veterans alike.
And they will die in an unending curse.
I recently tried Empire of the Ants, which is a strategy game about managing an ant colony, gathering resources, expanding tunnels, and defending against threats. I loved the attention to detail, from the way the ants move to the realistic environments that make you feel like you're actually in their tiny world. The strategy elements are pretty deep, letting you plan out your colony's growth and defense, but I did find the controls a bit tricky at times, which could be a little frustrating. Even so, it's such a unique and immersive experience. If you're looking for a different kind of strategy game, this one's definitely worth a shot. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth continues the epic adventure with stunning graphics and even more exciting twists and turns.